Hey y'all. So today I just wanted to share a few thoughts. I am 27 years old and I grew up in a abusive home. My father was and is a narcissist. He refers to himself as a street preacher. He travels the world and poses as a evangelist, sharing the message of God. It's really just kind of a con to gain money and gain followers, fame and fortune. He's been in several newspapers, radios, all kinds of different stuff. And the reality of growing up with a parent that's a narcissist, there's a few different things that have followed me into adulthood. And other people who have grown up with a narcissistic parent may relate to some of these things. So always having to be on. Always being on is like kind of putting on this front that the narcissistic parent wanted you to present to the world. So for us, me and my siblings and mom, we would go into church and be all smile, wave, shaking hands. But all of that behavior was threatened behind the scene. So although we were outgoing at church, we were very withdrawn at home because we weren't allowed to speak on our own. We were very controlled with our movement, people we were allowed to talk to, but we had to put on this big act and this show for people. Even if you didn't grow up in a religious home, you may relate to some of this, acting like everything is okay in public when it's an absolute disaster behind closed doors. Another thing is doubting your self-worth. You may have imposter syndrome if you've gone into like a professional field like I have. Not feeling like you're worthy enough, not feeling like you should actually be there, not feeling like you're due any credit for your hard work and accomplishments and education. My dad always wanted to take credit, so if I got a job somewhere, it was because he knew somebody there. Or if I got a good grade on something, he would say, yeah, that's, you get it from your daddy or something like that. He was always finding a way to turn our accomplishments, us children's accomplishments, into his own way of praising himself. Another thing I think about is, there's bugs out here, it's wild. Another thing I think about is the division. So trying to pit siblings against siblings, trying to pit me against my mom, create some form of competition for his praise and approval. He's a very master manipulator, and he was very good at creating kind of this divide. I remember this one time, my dad entered a bunch of stuff in the fair, and I made fudge and entered it in the fair, and my mom had created some pieces of art and entered them in the fair as well. Well, my dad, I won first place for my fudge in that fair. And my dad was like, oh, Luke, did Alicia get first place before Mama even did? Referring to my mom. And that's just kind of a way to keep the division in place. Which my mom didn't care about who won first in any of that. She was happy for me for winning. She was proud of my accomplishments like a normal parent. But my dad wanted to make it kind of like I was better than her in that moment, which it didn't work at that time, and it just definitely is easy to reflect back on and see that then. But just a lot of things narcissistic parents, growing up with a narcissistic parent, can follow you throughout your life. So yeah, those are my thoughts for today.